Ease, aren't they? They've gone straight to football in
And we're back
Hello.
for the overview of the UFC 245 after a brilliant weekend of fighting, to say the least.
It was a bit of a mad one.
Oh, it was a bit of a late one too, with us being up till.
Oh yeah,
I'm
glad I made it through the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing.
you struggled, but me and Johnny made it till about 6:30.
In fairness, I worked at 9 the day before, then got the train to back here to then try and stay up. And it didn't work.
Excuses.
God,
Shut up.
terrible excuse.
It's not a terrible
all you gotta
excuse,
do
that's
is
fair
keep your
enough.
eyes open, kids.
Well, no one gave me a Red Bull this time.
Keep moving forward.
Let's get started with the weekend's fights then.
We're starting with the big one.
Starting with Usman v Covington. Usman, 5th round TKO.
It planned
Thoughts on that, Johnny?
out reasonably similar to what we thought it was going to. I think I said third.
Well, you were wrong
round
then.
TKO. Yeah, but the difference in that fight was Usman's physicality. He could hit Colby a lot harder than Colby could hit him, and in the end, it got too much.
I don't know,
for
you know,
him.
they were both throwing bombs.
They were throwing bombs, and I think Usman had a little bit of trickery in that fight because he's definitely pulled some strings in terms of that the shot where he
groin
pretended
shot.
to have been hit in the groin, and
Yeah.
everybody saw that it hit him in the
Definitely.
lower sort of fraction of his
But
stomach.
I think Colby's trying to,
Do you think that
Make
takes
it a
away
lot
from his
more.
credibility?
I don't think it really does, though. No one's going to look back at that fight and go, oh, yeah, Usman won it because he faked being hit in the bollocks. But
yeah,
I think Colby's going about it the correct way. He's doing the bad guy thing and continuing to try and get that rematch.
yeah, he's saying fake fight, fake
Yeah,
shot.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it was a fake shot, but there was an eye poke,
There was an
which was
eye poke.
definitely an eye poke, which
Yeah.
you can't claim that to be
I didn't
fake.
think it were at first, but when
No,
we saw
yeah,
the
yeah.
replay,
But
No, yeah, it isn't. It definitely was, but
Yeah.
the groin shot definitely wasn't.
I think Usman wanted a little bit of time out to get his breath
Well,
back.
he was getting hit, wasn't he?
He was getting hit, yeah.
definitely, and
That first 2 rounds, I was really, really impressed by Colby. I thought he was going to win it. I thought the amount of pressure he was putting on, the amount of punches, everything, his body shots, his kicks were really, really good. Then I think he went into the 5th round. They were 2-2, weren't they?
yeah,
Look at them
yeah.
on the round, so it could have gone any way. I think.
Yeah.
If Colby fought, they were saying all fight he had a broken jaw. So
Well, yeah.
It
if
was
he
the
fought with
final
that,
2
then
rounds.
fair play to him, and he fought well. Especially it must have been what, 2nd round, 3rd round when he'd broken his jaw.
Yeah.
He must have won the 4th, was it?
Yeah.
But it was whether it was going to points, Usman was definitely winning the
Yeah,
fight.
he
I
was.
think because of that last round, he was battering him anyway.
Yeah, he probably would have won, but I
Battering
do
him
think
before.
I think that the broken jaw had a massive impact on the fight. I don't know if he would have gone down from the punches if he hadn't have broken his jaw. In that 5th round, when he's getting hit, I don't know if the impact would have been the same if he hadn't broken his jaw earlier on.
Yeah.
I think he probably could have taken the hit. Interestingly, actually, I was looking at this. There was 0 takedown attempts in the whole fight. Those
Yeah.
2 fighters, 0 attempts. Would you, if we'd said that at the start of the fight, we'd have been like, no way, that's never happening. But obviously, they both respected each other's wrestling enough to go, we're definitely not going to try and take each other down because we know we're really, really dangerous on the floor. Which is, I thought that was crazy.
Absolutely.
And there's also no knockdowns until the 5th round when there was 2, which is, again, if you look at the volume of punches from both of them, no knockdowns. They both have a proper jaw on them.
Oh, definitely.
Especially Colby after that. I believe Usman's team got the information going into the 5th round that Colby had broken his jaw, and that's where Usman went to exploit. And that is surprisingly the same round he also, not necessarily knocked him out, but nearly turned his lights off.
Yeah, there was a couple of times Usman was definitely rocked a couple of times in
Oh,
that
yeah.
fight. Some massive.
It was a shock for him.
The big question is, it got stopped in the 5th round when Usman was on top. But Colby was alive. He wasn't fully
Still,
gone. Was it early or?
I think it was maybe a tad bit early, but how many times we said that with
Oh,
different
yeah.
results?
I agree.
It's
Yeah.
a referee's decision
It
at
was-
the end of the day.
You're probably right. It probably was early, but it was going to happen 5 seconds later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All-
I totally agree.
And the referee's there to protect the fighters, and when they can't defend themselves properly, that's when they stop in. 5 seconds later, he's not defending himself properly.
Yeah.
It's only
What
a
was
matter of
Colby
time.
going to do to get out of that situation realistically? You can't just start walking up the cage and, slip away. You can't slip out of it. He was on his face and was getting hit.
Exactly, he got walked down. He got rocked, didn't he? Colby in that first knockdown, and Usman did a really good job of just walking him down and properly just applying pressure. And then eventually, the second knockdown happened, and then he finished him off. And really, really impressed by both of them actually.
Yeah, me
They-
too.
they-
Great fight.
They showed themselves better than I thought they would. I thought it might have just been an early stoppage. Both of them come out of that fight looking better than they did going in. Even though Colby lost, his stock's gone up after that fight, definitely. Because you look at him and think, give him another shot because he deserves it. Like 5 rounds, effectively, with Usman looking really impressive in 2 or 3 of them. If you hadn't broken that jaw, maybe a different outcome. I'm definitely an advocate for another one for them too, because that was really, really impressive.
I think
So,
rematch could be on the cards.
Rematch too.
Yeah.
Well, the division is definitely stacked.
Yeah, it's just
I think it's the most stacked
So
in the UFC.
there's obviously Jorge Masvidal.
Leon
Yeah.
Edwards.
Whether he has a chance at the title shot against Usman, and then there's Covington, Leon Edwards, they potentially fight. There's 4 great fighters there who.
I don't think they're going to push Masvidal for the title next, because he's got his own sort of thing agenda. Didn't he call out Nick?
He's playing with the Nick fight, but he's going for the big fights. He's going for the fame fights. I think he's more realistically going to fight someone like Habib than he is.
Yeah, I think there's
tomorrow,
more chance of McGregor than him
Yeah,
going for the title. But
definitely.
why would he not go for the title? He's been in the UFC for so many years, and
I think it's just because he's got such a big fan base.
Yeah,
now,
I don't
think
he's
he's
got so
forced.
much money. I don't think he's too bothered about the gold, on his waist. He's got enough in
it's
his
silly for me. I
pockets.
don't see why he wouldn't just go for a chance at a title when he has got a chance for Usman. He's a great fighter, Masvidal. He's ruthless. So, but Usman,
I think Usman would probably do.
I think Usman would win because he'd be too strong for him. But we didn't expect Masvidal to come out against Ben Askren and knock him out in 5 seconds.
Look at probably
Beat Till, beat Nate Diaz. He was brilliant. Nate Diaz.
He was incredible.
Yeah, but that fight, I want to see that fight again so much, that Nate fight, because that stoppage was just so unfortunate. Like they were saying, to put it in Vegas, they're probably not stopping that there. Like the referee, the doctors, there's a lot different in New York because it's only been there for a few years. I think they'll run it back with that fight again at some point in Vegas to try and see what happens. I don't know if it'll be next. I think it'll be in maybe a year or so. But I think they will do that fight again because everyone wants to see it. It was a massive fight. Look at the numbers on that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I just don't know what Nate wants anymore, though.
Yeah, and to
I
be
don't know
honest,
whether he wants to come back. I don't personally don't think they will fight again because I don't.
Well, Nate said he
Nate
wanted
was
it
getting
after it.
banged out. Nate was getting ruined in that fight.
Yeah.
and he is definitely a sort of late game fighter.
And Nate's the fighter who
Exactly.
takes control and he took
Well,
no
no,
control. in
Nate's
that
known
fight.
for him being able to, in the 4th and 5th, coming into his own. He's never been massive in the first couple of rounds. It's when he gets going, and he didn't have time to get going because he got stopped. Was it in the 3rd, or just before the 4th, something like that?
Yeah.
That's probably when Nate was probably gonna. We might have seen the side to Nate that we're used to as he, got used to the punches, which he hadn't been hit for a while. And then he's,
Not like that.
he's gonna start coming into his own. You don't know. Probably still would have lost the fight if it went to a decision. He definitely would have lost the fight.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
regardless of the cut, he was
Mm.
still getting dominated in
He's
that
lo-
fight.
he's lost
the
Masvidal
first
looked
3.
confident. He looked tough. He looked really good. Great form. He was
Mm.
landing everything. He was going for everything, and I think he did everything he intended to do in
Yeah,
that
it
fight.
was-
So
It definitely just proved to everyone that Askren wasn't lucky. He is an incredibly good fighter. I think when he beat Till, that was already the case. But when you beat someone as high profile as Nate, that shows the world how good you are, and that's why he's got such a fan base now.
So that's Usman v Covington. Great fight. Fight of the night. We all agree with that. I agree with that.
100%, yeah.
But even though not all, but a lot of the other fights were great. Move on to the co-main. Holloway v Volkanovski.
Big shock for Sam.
Yeah, what a
Big
load of rubbish.
shock to the system. For everyone, really. Sam, your favourite guy.
I mean, I'll get it started. Let's be honest, didn't look himself.
No.
That's not the Max we're used to. Do we think he was too relaxed? What time did he get? Was it like 3:30 he got to the arena or
Yeah.
something they were saying?
It was 3 hours after Volkanovski,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
So, Volkanovski
It
is
was
like...
6:30 US time, so that must have been. Well, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
He
really
left it late. He left it very late to get in.
Yeah.
It might have maybe turned on his mindset a little bit.
I
But-
think he might have underprepared.
I don't.
I just believe Volkanovski absolutely did him to death. He
Yeah.
analysed him, he
No, I agree.
researched him, and he took him apart bit by bit.
It's the leg kicks. Like, he didn't have an answer for any of them
No.
for those leg kicks, and it removed his. Max isn't used to that at all. Volkanovski looked at it and thought, "This is the way you beat Max Holloway. You kick him until you can beat him up." Really annoying, because I just saw that when you're looking at the fight and you look from a far distance, you think Holloway is just that good, and I do think that was not the Holloway we're used to, and I don't think that's because Volkanovski was so good. I think it's because Max wasn't himself, and that's not taking anything away from Volkanovski. Volkanovski was amazing, but you've got to think he definitely wasn't like 100% Max. Like, Max wasn't slipping shots like he's used to, and he wasn't finding his distance, which was probably due to the leg kicks, which is really clever.
Yeah.
But I think they run it, but he didn't check them, and he can check them. We've seen him check them before. He's not great at it. It's not his best thing. But I think we go back to it next time.
I do think that's his weakness, though.
Absolutely, yeah, because he's not. People don't do that to him. So now I think he has a camp, like with leg kicks. I think they run it back. You'll see him check them more, but I think Volkanovski will then. It's incredibly hard to call that fight now if they ran it back, and I think they should run it back. What do you think?
I could do with seeing a rematch.
Yeah, I think they should run it back too, but there's not many in the division, is there? There's looking at. We'll obviously talk about later Edgar and Korean Zombie being on the weekend. There's them two in the division, but then there's only Zabit.
Don't think either of them are ready for it.
Oh, absolutely not. Edgar just lost.
I agree they should run it back because Volkanovski, but he did control that fight, like Johnny said. I think he analysed him. Him and his coaches analysed him completely.
I mean, it'd be.
His punches were awful, the worst I've ever seen Holloway's throw. He couldn't throw anything, could he? It's like he was drained.
It would be.
He couldn't now.
It'd be disrespectful to Max if they didn't give him a rematch from being the champion for that long.
I think, yeah.
They have to give him a rematch, which they will. That'll be more interesting for me, watching it back to see if he does do anything with his game, whether he does change Max or goes, I'm good enough to beat this guy. I was just having a bad day. I think Max is the sort of guy who'll go and work on himself.
Watch that performance back.
Well, we see Max throw one punch, catch it, and then throw about 100.
Yeah.
We didn't see that once, did we? We didn't see any threat.
He seemed a little bit tentative to walk into Volkanovski, but Volkanovski's a big bloke, to be honest. Like, I know we spoke about the height difference pretty extensively in the last show, but
he doesn't.
It's not
the
really
legs on that fella, in comparison to Holloway, who is like 6 inches taller, it's huge. He has tree trunk legs, Volkanovski.
Yeah, he's got short but stout legs.
Yeah, he absolutely took Holloway's lower half away from him, and once you've lost your legs, you can't put any power into punches because you've got no lunges.
Yeah, well, he had to change his stance, didn't he, because he got kicked that much.
Yeah, he had to go southpaw, didn't look himself. You can't just swing in the UFC, especially someone like Holloway, who's a very technical fighter.
There was definitely points where you think Max is just going to start hitting him now, and he just didn't do it. It was weird for me. I was ready and just watching it like, okay, so when's he going to start going? He just needs to find his range. Never found his range. And that is because of the leg kicks. Like, he kept him at a far enough distance the whole fight that he couldn't find that range. That, the range we saw against Ortega when he found that pocket and was just able to slip every punch Ortega threw and hit him back.
Countered.
Yeah, he's a really, really good counter puncher and just couldn't find his range that fight, which is it's a shame because it took away from what could have been an amazing fight, and it just left it to pretty much a domination from Volkanovski, which is still good to see. Lads like him, it shows that the division is still strong when people are thinking no one's going to beat Max. To be fair, I said it, Jake said it. We didn't think it was going to happen. That for me just proves, it's really impressive. I do want to see that fight again though, because I want to see a properly dialed in Max, ready for that title back.
So we do all, I guess, and you, Johnny, think a rematch too.
Yeah, I would love to see a
But
rematch.
if it wasn't going to happen, who would you say it would have to be? Would it have to be wait till we see what wins out of Fred Yeager and Korean Zombie or Zabit.
No, neither of them are getting a chance. It's going to be Zabit.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, Edgar just lost 2 max. Yeah.
Yep.
Holloway. So obviously, why would he get a shot over Holloway?
Mhm.
I can't think that. Korean Zombie, his record, he doesn't beat big guys. He has to win this fight to even be thought about as you know,
or he's
up there.
possibly done.
Absolutely not. Either of them two for me. I mean, if Ortega won that fight, bear in mind he's been out for so long, he'd still have to have another fight if Ortega was in it.
Yeah.
So
Ortega
definitely not
got
Edgar.
dominated by Max. So yeah, it's got to be Max.
For me, it's got to be Zabit.
I think.
Is the
You think it's got to be Max, but
well, no, obviously
if Zabit, yeah.
Zabit will be there after that.
But
I think.
Yeah, he'll definitely be after that. Well,
unless
thing
they do a
is,
third, but
if it is Max Volkanovski again and Zabit wants to fight, who's Zabit gonna fight? Because does he
well, he'll probably
fight Ortega maybe
Is he
if
gonna-
Ortega
the
comes
winner
back?
of-
I think Ortega. I think that'd
Ortega
be a nice
Zabit
fight
would
to
be
watch.
a very nice fight
Be a
to
nice
watch.
fight.
Or the winner of Korean Zombie and Frankie Edgar.
Maybe they should give him that because Zabit hasn't fought the biggest fighters. So if they give him Ortega first,
I would love to
then
see that.
then it'll give him that stepping stone. He needs this title now.
I would enjoy that fight massively. I think that's, one of your guys in
TCE.
into Triangle City, and one of my guys who I don't like Zabit, but I think he's probably the most impressive fighter I've watched. To come, is it like 2 years? He's just beating everyone that he's facing. He's
Well, we watched
dominated
that
everyone.
Kyle Bochniak
The Bochniak fight.
Couple of years
Bochniak
ago,
is
that was
mad, and he just dispatched with him.
I love
punch
Kyle
after
Bochniak.
punch.
Kyle Bochniak is brilliant. He's just a mad head.
Yeah, that was amazing. I want to see that. I've never thought about Ortega Zabit, but that'd be an amazing fight. I think that does sound like something they would do.
Sounds great.
That's a probably not a co-main, but like the third fight on a card would happily be a third sort of fight on a big card. You see that
could
fight.
headline a fight night though, couldn't it?
I don't think they'd waste that on a.
No.
That tends to be
It just depends,
the
doesn't it?
fight nights
Sometimes.
tend to be when they're trying to get the smaller places, like they do Derek Lewis on a lot of them because he's from Texas, isn't he? Stuff like that. They try and get lads like
Depends.
that, and they try and
It
get.
does all depend though, because some fight nights are really big.
No, they're big, but I think they'll put him on like a. That deserves to be on a main card.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that soon.
A lot of big fighters do get on, say like European fighters do get their fight nights, don't they? Because it's in their country or something like that. So
Well,
like,
if they do in a
like
Russia card
Gustafsson was
anytime
always
soon.
a huge fighter, and he'd be on a fight night at times because it'd be in Stockholm.
Yeah,
in Sweden,
well,
so-
that's what I mean. Like if they're in their hometown,
But-
it tends to be.
Yeah, it can't really be. Ortega's American,
They
and
do Russia.
Zabit's
If they did a
yeah, but he's
fight night in Russia,
Dagestani, isn't he? So
it is in Russia.
yeah, I know.
If they did one, because they did the last one they did, that could definitely headline a card, but not a main card because they're neither of them championships yet. Does interest me though. Never thought about it, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wow, please make it happen.
Right, that's 2 title fights. 1-1. One defended, 1 lost.
Yeah.
3rd title fight of the night. Amanda Nunes v Jermaine Durandamy. It was a clear decision win by Amanda Nunes, really.
Yeah.
One of the most impressive championship performances I've ever seen.
Bold statement.
I would have to disagree with that.
I have to disagree.
It's not the fact that it's the fact that she dominated Nunes the entire fight. She got-
GDV, you mean?
Nunes dominated her the entire
That's
fight.
what I
didn't
meant,
he?
yeah, sorry. She was. I've never seen. This woman is an incredible striker, and she just couldn't find it. She took her down and was on top for the whole fight. Good ground defense from Durandamy.
That's why I'm not going to give it Nunes the best fight, because Randamy was good.
No,
she just
I'm not.
couldn't do no more.
I'm not saying it's the best fight. I'm saying it's the best performance
best
from
performance.
Nunes
Yeah. So,
that I've seen in a long time, if not. She's definitely the greatest woman of all time.
yeah.
Uh,
She definitely controlled the fight, and obviously I said first round TKO, but that could have happened.
Oh yeah.
There was a bit where it was so close, it was just
It was probably
inches
close.
away.
It was probably closest in the first round
Yeah.
to being stopped, and then the rest, Durandamy
she
just
gassed herself out.
turtled up. She like shelled up and was like, I'll survive the fight. And she's come out looking good as a, like, she proved that she's not just a kickboxer, Durandamy, but, you know, it's another just win for Nunes, not really getting hit the whole fight. She's come out looking good. Definitely, for me, the best female fighter of all time.
Yeah.
I remember bringing up the question when we last did this. I said to you boys, does Jermaine Durandamy have a chin? And I can confirm that woman has the best chin I've ever seen on her. Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah, she wasn't bruising.
No.
She wasn't bleeding. She was just surviving.
It's crazy.
But
She was great on her feet, though. You could see that kickboxer coming out of her at times, because I think Amanda Nunes was a little bit on the back foot. There were a couple of times in that fight where you thought, you know, Nunes looked a little bit scared, and she just took her to the ground.
yeah,
She
like
had
we
full
said,
control on the ground.
she's took it to the ground. Is that going to be an approach she's going to take for a lot of fights, do you think? If it's going to be...
It depends on the person.
Obviously, it depends on the person, but a lot of people could play that style now. Think, oh, I'll let her take me down because I'm better than Jermaine Durandamy on the ground. So
maybe
that could be
you've
a
got to scare her.
possible
I think
weakness
you've got to
for-
scare her first on the feet, because GDR, I said GDB before, I think, but GDR looked very impressive when she was on the front foot. She was doing things not necessarily in the first, but beyond that, before she was on her face or on her arse, she did actually look quite dangerous, and that was why they were going to the ground so much. It wasn't the most exciting fight once she was on the ground, because you knew what the outcome was going to be, and by the end of it, Randamy wasn't getting knocked out. She was just sort of getting bruised wrists, and
I think we were all waiting for that moment where
Quite a
Durandamy could just... Those up kicks were really dangerous, weren't they?
Yeah.
She hit... We were all just thinking, please don't get caught by one of them.
There was a nasty
'Cause
ankle
there
at one point.
there was.
The heel of her foot. That's a very, very hard bit of your body. Insanely dangerous to get hit by one of them in your eye socket or whatever it may be. It looked like the eye socket at the time.
Somewhere, yeah, definitely a cheekbone area. She got hit, didn't she? And you'd see her. She sort of fell on top after getting hit by the up kick, didn't she?
Yeah.
And
Styled it out.
she landed on top, and then the match, I think she came on very quickly and was like, flipping out, okay, I need to respect that a bit more. To be honest, yeah, it's pretty clean, that one, wasn't it? A pretty obvious win when you got to the third. That
100%.
It's going to have to take a lot for Durandamy to get anything out of this. With the point system being 10-9, you're just going to struggle to... you can't. You have to... Once you've lost 3 rounds, you've got to knock them out, don't you?
She was dominated on the ground, but there was that one moment towards the latter half of the fight where I think she got put in a little headlock, didn't she?
She got put in
Randamy's
I think it
legs
was
got-
an armbar.
Yeah,
It was an armbar that transitioned
Yeah, it
into
transitioned.
I think he was trying to get her rear naked or something. That we thought flipping heck.
She tied her up in it.
Yeah, it was like flipping it, and then I think that impressed me massively. That you can get caught, and Nunes could get caught, and then she just slips out, doesn't she? And she starts attacking again. She
very determined.
wasn't
fighter.
phased, just carried on, and that's why it's one of the most impressive performances for me, because there was adversity in there, and still remained calm, collected, and dominated the rest of the fight. And that for me is why it's one of the most impressive performances from her to date.
Fair enough. What, finally on this, what is next for Nunes? As we had Irene Aldana on the weekend beat second-ranked Ketlin Vieira behind Jermaine Durandamy in the first round TKO. But we watched that fight, Johnny. I think you missed that one, Sam. And that Vieira was dominating all fight, and it just come to one punch, and that Aldana wins. TKOs are like it can happen in some fights.
She just dropped her, didn't she?
This girl didn't look the best, so is she gonna actually challenge Nunes or?
No, probably not. I don't know. They're talking about that boxing girl, aren't they?
Yeah,
which is silly.
like we've
I mean,
seen.
Nunes has already said she's not gonna. If she wants to fight her, that boxer needs to come to the UFC, which I think Dana would explode over. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I really don't see anyone beating Nunes till she. I don't even know. Looking
No.
at this division, I don't see anyone.
Not seeing it. Not anyone currently in there. I don't think will beat them. You're gonna need someone who's like crazy striker.
I love Nunez's response to that boxing call out though, because at the end of the day, we always see people in the cage transition to boxing for the sake of the boxer, and we never see it happen backwards. Why would Nunez transition into boxing when she's not,
She's
especially focused in
double title champion.
She's not a boxer,
Double
the boxer can come to her if she wants to challenge her. She's the one with the upper hand at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think her response is brilliant. She's not a boxer. She said that outright. I'm into that. I support that.
So
Should always be a choice.
3 title fights, 2 defended, 1 lost.
Shocking.
4th fight out of the 5 on the main card was Marlon Moraes v Jose Aldo.
I think we were wrong about this one as well, to be honest.
To be fair, shrouded in controversy. Did he lose? Did he win?
Aldo won that. in my book.
Yeah, I thought Aldo might have won
It's
that.
first Moraes, second Aldo, and it comes to the 3rd. I said all the way through the 3rd, this could be a draw, this could be a draw, this could be a draw. No one really thought. Everyone kind of ruled out Moraes.
Yeah,
No,
I said
no,
it was
everyone ruled out.
I said it was going to be an
No,
Aldo
they ruled
win.
out Moraes.
What, for the third?
In the final
Oh,
round.
I thought you meant for the actual outcome.
No.
So that one's confusing. I do think they got it wrong.
I think they got it wrong. Aldo, he landed more of everything. He charged him down.
To be fair, very impressed. Still don't know if it's the right place for him to be.
I don't think it was a
Well,
very
it's
good
a-
fight.
No,
It wasn't great. I mean, in the first round, Moraes controlled everything, but I think he also might have knocked himself out a little bit in terms of like his lungs, because he looked quite tired after that. He was doing a lot of fancy stuff, and he was controlling Aldo in that first round. But then once Aldo found his rhythm, he came into that fight quite quickly and just started landing more than Moraes. Doing more than Moraes.
we probably saw the Aldo we're used to using his experience to come
exactly
in.
what
Remember, like the man's fought everywhere. And he's 32 or something, or 33. That's crazy. Like you think, how long do you remember him being around for?
Forever.
Feels like 20 years, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And he's 32. Shocking outcome for me.
Shocking.
I just thought
Judges have made
when
the wrong
when I
decision
went
before.
when I went
Yeah.
into that, and I said it last week, it was going to be an easy win for Moraes, and then get back on the horse to go back to fight Cejudo, and then you see that performance from Aldo and that lack of performance from Moraes, and you think that's crazy. And I don't think it was the fact that Moraes didn't have a good night. I think he just wasn't good enough.
I agree.
And then he somehow got that win, which means he'll probably go on to fight someone, and then Cejudo.
What, you don't think Cejudo now?
He's just lost to Cejudo.
Yeah, but
I don't, and that's also I don't think that at all interests Cejudo. Like he's already said he wants Aldo, which
Yeah.
I think he's saying that
wants
because
the big fight.
I think
he?
he's saying that because he knows,
He wants the money fight that he believes he can win.
Yeah,
Whereas he's
yeah.
quite scared of somebody like Peter Yan, who we'll talk about later.
Well, exactly. Jan's very unpredictable. Plus, you lose to Jan, Jan's probably going to keep going because he's only young and he's getting better. Sort of flipping.
Jan's a danger to everybody in that division.
Yeah,
we'll move on to the Yan fight because there's a big topic to talk about after it.
maybe Moraes Jan next. That'd be cool. Just because Moraes comes off a win.
So-
Jan's called out Cejudo. He wants to go straight to the top.
Oh, he
doesn't
wants to start. So
Believes in
Yan
himself.
KO'd Faber in the 3rd round. It was coming, wasn't it?
Absolutely, it was really impressive again. Like we knew going into that fight it was going to be an impressive performance from Jan. Like we all said it, we like him. He looks good, and he proved himself. Like
He had a nasty gash on his eye,
So-
Uriah Faber.
so
Very
calm.
nasty.
yeah, that was that.
But yeah, like you say, he was so patient and because he just took his time with it. He just took
Absolutely.
his time to pick Faber out, and Faber could handle it really.
Faber had a lot of heart. He went in there with a lot of
Oh,
heart.
he should have.
and
He could have been gone. He's nearly been submitted, and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
he survived.
He had his moments, yeah.
He
And
didn't
he did
ever
have his
look like he
little
was being
moments.
completely dominated, but he just looked weaker than Jan, unfortunately. I love Faber. I wanted him to sort of do some bits once he came back, but Jan was too much, and Jan looks incredible. He looks
Yeah,
like
well,
champion
they've given him a
material.
hard fight,
Oh,
Faber,
yeah.
there.
It's
Like,
tough.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he didn't look that impressive against the last opponent. Then he fights Jan, who's up and coming. Remember, they're like 20-year age difference between the two of them, and Jan's
It's 14.
looking really impressive. And then you you put him against that, and I think they were trying to prove to everyone that Jan was that good. Like they put that fight together.
I think they were probably
To
trying
push
to
Jan.
push Jan to the
They're
top. They
pushing
were
Jan.
trying to slingshot him to a championship
Because
title.
put him against a massive name and make him. They knew he'd look good, and let's be honest, it's worked because he looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's the best. The most Jan will get seen was that before the title now, and I think he does deserve the title shot.
He was incredibly patient. He was strong. He was tough. He articulated everything that he was trying to do into his performance, and at times, I think he even sort of. I don't know if that kick that he knocked Uriah Faber out with was even meant to be a kick. I think he was thinking about going for a knee, thinking Uriah Faber was closing in, and then turned it into a kick because he
Yeah.
just flicks his foot out. It was like a football kick,
It's like a
wasn't it?
slingshot. Yeah, really impressive. I thought that
He
was
was great, very powerful
quality.
fighter. Definitely not someone that you can underestimate in the future. He's going to the top of him, I think.
Yeah. Give him Cejudo.
Well-
See what he does.
Talking on Cejudo, if you have seen on the social media,
Is
he's
this
called
breaking
out
news?
Jose Aldo,
Yeah, well,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is just
No.
an embarrassment, really, because
It's
he
poor,
just
really.
lost. I know Jose Aldo's a huge fighter, but this is just Jose Aldo's just lost his fight. Cejudo needs to fight someone who deserves the chance. Jan,
he's scared of Jan.
it must be the way
He's
he's.
scared of what he can
There's
Well, I think he knows that there's big money in that Aldo fight. There's less money in the Jan fight. But he's going to have to fight Jan at some point because Jan's not going to lose, I don't think,
no.
anytime soon. And
There's-
I think,
Also, Corey Sandhagen, who's fighting Edgar.
yeah. Well,
Edgar's on 2 fights, as we'll discuss soon.
I think,
He's fighting. He's third, so if he beats Edgar, he could deserve a chance.
that'll be a while. Because, remember, Cejudo needs to fight soon. It's been a
He's
little while.
two-weight champion, isn't he? And Joseph Benavidez is desperate in the flyweight to fight,
Yeah.
and he wants that title. But Cejudo
Cejudo's
doesn't
got,
seem to be thinking about the flyweight division in the slightest. So will he?
yeah, he needs to
vacate
fight
that belt,
He's
do you
got to
think?
fight soon. Definitely. I do think he's more likely to fight Jan than he is Sandhagen. Just because it just doesn't seem like a big fight, whereas Jan's a bigger fight, definitely. I think that's more important. I think they will. I think they'll put that fight on pretty soon. I don't think Cejudo has the ability to just say no, I'm not fighting him. I want Aldo. Even if he is the 2-weight champion, he
you
doesn't.
can always pick and choose as a champion, can't you? Realistically. But I don't think Cejudo's actually got much back in him. Because people think Jan would beat him. And
Yeah.
that's why, surprisingly enough, Cejudo's come out and said that he wants Aldo instead. It's almost like a marketing move from his end. Whereas someone like, Joseph Benavidez deserves a title shot as well, and Cejudo's knocking that one too. He's holding
Yeah.
on to this title, but he's holding on to everything that comes with it as well. He wants that triple C, triple G, whatever the fuck.
He is 2-weight champ, but I definitely think it was the most surprising one, and I think he's the most vulnerable champ.
Definitely.
As we look at
Nail on the head.
maybe Volkanovski now,
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
but
If there's a rematch, he could do the exact
the likes of
same thing.
Khabib, Usman, Adesanya, Jones, they're not that vulnerable.
No.
So Cejudo,
Well, you say this. I think we're putting a bit of a lack
Obviously.
of respect on Cejudo's amazing ability to wrestle.
He's a fantastic fighter.
Like he's incredible at both weights. We've seen it. Massive wins. He beat Dillashaw, and Dillashaw looked like he was in his prime of his career when he was fighting. I know he was on the juice, but that performance again, we are looking at, to be fair to Cejudo, he's fought everyone that he should have fought. He's beaten massive people. He beat Mighty Mouse. Is
he's
he gonna?
doing a bit of a John Jones.
I know he's looking like he's dodging Yan by saying this thing, but I think put them together, it's gonna be an amazing fight. But I'm definitely never gonna write off Cejudo. Cejudo looks incredible, and I think it would be very like silly of us to think, oh, Yan can go in there. He probably might be ducking him, but I don't think he is. I think he's just looking for more of the money fights, which is, it makes sense from a standpoint for him. Definitely. We've still got to think about how good Cejudo has been the last few years. He hasn't lost for a while, has he?
No.
Unfortunately not.
So that was the main card.
We
What
smashed
card it
that.
was?
Yeah, that was bloody brilliant.
It was great, that. I enjoyed every minute of it.
I enjoyed every minute of being awake. The klaxons weren't particularly helpful for me. I was just trying to have a nap, and every 5 minutes.
We should
Sam
just
died,
move
darted over
over
them.
to America and
Happily, I just
Be easier,
watch
wouldn't
it normal times.
look. I put a lot of commitment into getting back for this. It was pretty horrible. Being woken up every
It
5
was
minutes.
worth it in
Come
the
on.
end.
It was.
We'll talk a little bit about a couple of fights, prelims, because we'll definitely have to. Some of that good.
Jeff Neal.
Jeff Neal.
Matt Brown was a good one as well.
Yeah, Jeff Neal though, taking over Mike Perry first round.
Untouched.
Mm.
Unbroken. Unscathed.
Unbroken.
I'm not sure whether this one was a surprising one, because Mike Perry just seems to be so hit or miss.
Yeah,
It
s-
is
you were saying that
unbelievable.
at the start of the round, and that's all you had to say, and he was
And
on his
come out.
arse, yeah.
Jeff Neal didn't come away with a scratch.
We all said it last time. We said Neil's got this.
We did also say it could go either way.
It
though,
could
as well,
go,
didn't we?
yeah.
We were
I
like,
think
That's
that's
true.
right.
I mean, we've seen this in the main card. It can go either way,
Oh yeah.
ridiculously. I think to look at that performance from Neil, he's gonna get pushed for another a good fight next time. Like, he looked really impressive. He's looked impressive before. That fight just sort of proved it. Perry, not a big name, not a great name. I think we all know that Platinum Mike Perry is not particularly great.
I think he's got. I don't know. He's just so. He can look amazing. But
does he
I
ever
think
look
he is
amazing, or
crap.
does he ever just hits people? I know what you mean. Like, you never walk away from a performance going, "Wow, he looked good tonight." You just think, "Wow, that was a good punch." Like, the amount of times he's lost is enough for me to say,
He's done now.
yeah.
He's over with now.
Well,
It
he's
is-
just
he
got
is done
married.
now.
Go and enjoy your life, mate.
Jeff Neal's a bit of a highlighter now as well. I
But
think
Jeff
he's
Neal,
Probably try and
How-
get
how-
rid of.
passage.
do we think
To the
two
top
fights?
Yeah,
two more
he's got a
fights
couple of
before?
fights in him before challenging.
We're looking at maybe Wonder Boy.
I mean,
Ooh.
you look at the last three people that he's beat now. And, he's got Nico Price, Bilal Muhammad, and Mike Perry under his belt there.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
mean,
a good little trajectory.
we spoke about this last week. He looks good. He's in a really good way at the moment. Give him a couple of fights and then, see how he does with a bigger name. Give him someone good and really good, and we'll see how he does. Because if he did the Wonder Boy fight, Wonder Boy is old, but he looked really good the
Oh, he was brilliant.
the
He was brilliant.
other week. Give him that fight, and the thing we'll look at, challenging if he gets a good win.
We've not seen Jeff Neal at his best yet, for sure. He's got a lot more in his locker.
Well, he looked like very impressive against Perry.
We
Like
haven't seen enough
we
of him.
couldn't see enough of him in that fight, but what he did in that fight was like, wow, this guy's got it. This guy knows what he's doing.
We haven't seen enough of him yet, but
Definitely not.
the kid is a part-time waiter on the weekends.
Is
He's
he?
not. Yeah, he's not. He's got 2 jobs to pay his wage. He's
Really?
not focusing on being a fighter.
I don't think he'll have to
I
do
think
too much after this.
I think he
Yeah.
needs to be focusing now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If he puts everything into being a fighter and trying to do what he seems to be capable of,
Oh, absolutely. Like
he could
He
be a big fella in a few years.
he's going to get a main card fight next time, and he's going to be able to say, right, well, I don't think I need to be a waiter anymore. I think he's going to get a good fight and a good purse next
Robbie
time.
Lawler.
Yeah,
That'd be a really good fight.
That's a great shout.
That's a good fight for both of them. Lawler
Coming off a loss.
Yeah, coming off a loss. Definitely not in his prime anymore.
I'd say maybe like
It's a good time to
Lawler,
fight.
then DeSantis, then title.
Yeah, sounds
Do you
good.
think Dos Anjos is
Obviously, it
having a
depends who
struggle.
else.
Yeah, Dos Anjos is gonna have to fight again probably.
Like it could be if
What's Dos
Colby fights
Anjos's
again, loses. It could be Colby. We don't know what it's.
What's
That's going to be a
Dos
long time
Anjos's
away.
current record? Is he
We could see Tyron Woodley as well.
in his last
Popping up.
5? How many has he lost in his last 5? Dos Anjos.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, he's struggling at the moment. I think age is catching up to him, and the time he's been around for a long time. We got to remember that.
He's
forget
lost 3, so
In
of
a
his
row?
last 5
Oh,
to Leon Edwards, Usman, and Colby.
Leon Edwards.
Leon
is
Edwards is a good fight.
supposedly going to be the next person to face Kamaru Usman, though. Kamaru Usman called him out.
Oh yeah, he gets put against these big names.
I'd love to see Leon Edwards a British
Leon Edwards, he's a great fighter.
British welterweight champion. That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Undefeated in his 8 last fights, I believe. He could be a decent one. He could be a shout for the title shot.
It'd be nice because with us being from here, we'd like to see it nice.
Yeah. I think Usman might have called him out. So he
Good
doesn't have
English
to do a
lad.
rematch, so we'll
You know.
never know.
We haven't seen one for a while, not since Bisping.
Nope. Darren Till, always got our sort of attention, but calling out big fighters
he's
and not
back
doing
now,
the
isn't he?
most incredible
Do you know what?
things.
He's I think he's coming back again now.
I hope
Till.
so.
Till, yeah, I agree.
I think that Woodley fight humbled him massively, and he was like, "Sugar, I'm not that good. I
The
need to train.
Masvidal fight
I need to train. I need
kicked
to
his
train."
confidence bad.
Yeah, that last win against who did he fight?
Kelvin Gastelum.
Gastelum. That was a dodgy
Yeah,
decision
that was-
as well.
I don't think
He
looked that
was
good
impressive, but it
against
was like,
Gastelum.
ooh,
A boring fight.
No, it was a clear for me, but it was he was just too strong for Gastelum because Gastelum's small, isn't he?
yeah.
Super
But
compact
Gastelum fought well. I think Gastelum's a really good fighter.
I don't
So
know who
Till.
Till fights next though.
I think Till, good win for Till there. But yeah, so
I hope he
like you
doesn't
said.
continue to get pushed till. Let him choose. And calm him down as well. He's calling out Boogeyman and doing crazy stuff on Twitter, even if he has got a few.
Well, he was
boosts and
he was
still-
saying he didn't want the
Yeah, he said he was
the
pissed. So.
Whittaker fight. I wouldn't want I wouldn't want any of them. Adesanya, Whittaker, or Romero for him at the moment. They're just too
No.
just
No.
too much. He needs to get a few.
Upper echelon
Yeah,
fighters.
he needs to get a few wins behind him, and then
he is
Move on
fifth in
from
the
there.
rankings. So there's only
I
Cannonier,
don't
Romero, Costa,
think
Whittaker, and Adesanya above him.
Maybe Cannonier wants a little slingshot to the top
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, and he's not too big of a fighter at all, is he really? So
Wasn't-
He looks good though.
yeah.
wasn't Cannonier saying he
Cannonier-
deserves the title shot next?
He said, "Give me the title shot." He said, "Post."
He was
post
gonna
his
quit
last
or
fight, Yeah,
something.
he said, "Give me the title shot before I get too good and no one ends up beating me." That is literally what he said, which is crazy. There's a lot of self-confidence in that statement, but you never know. We'll have to see him face
True.
the big boys.
Final one we're going to talk about is the skinny boy,
The skinny M&M boy.
Chase Hooper. So he was 6-0, 8-0.
Yeah, first professional UFC
I think he
fight.
was 8-0.
He's a good one
First
to talk
professional
about.
UFC fight.
I have
This
never.
was
ever
man
watched him.
v boy, wasn't it, Johnny? At first, we
was.
thought,
It
right,
was.
this is a man fighting a high school kid or something. This
Yeah.
curly haired, skinny.
Super skinny. Looked like a little
Stick and-
orangutan.
Do you know who he looks
He
like?
was literally bone.
Super bad
Yeah,
bloke. Don't know
yeah.
his name.
Jesse.
Is it Eisman?
Yeah, I think it
I
might
think
be
it
that.
might be Jesse Eisman. He just.
Yeah, I think it is.
I saw that fight. I came downstairs for that fight, and I was like, I didn't see the whole thing, but what I saw was like, flipping heck. He's a bit gangly and wobbly on his feet.
Oh yeah, he looked like a giraffe on stilts on his feet. He could
But
have
he
easily
was-
been
But
dropped.
when he,
The
But he's
chin on him,
fast.
though.
But he's fast, and
his
when he
tr-
gets
his
people,
transitions when they're on the floor, when he
Amazing.
moved to that mount, that top mount, when he had his legs over his shoulders and he's hitting him.
Oh yeah, he full mounted
Really,
him.
really impressive.
That was the end.
His back mount was mad, absolutely brilliant. He's going for chokes. He was going for locks, and then he managed to absolutely nail him with the punches at the end. I was like, flipping it, put a bit more weight on him, get him to practice his punches.
He's got height. He's got a huge height difference.
He just needs a bit of power in his punches. Otherwise, you can see him fighting against someone, because they don't want to over push him, because otherwise they'll push him and he'll fight against someone who can hit hard.
Yeah,
and it's just gonna be.
I was thinking he could be like Dana White's next little golden.
It's gonna be like you really don't want him to stand up against someone who can actually box and.
What makes me laugh though, right, is just looking at this guy, and then looking at the division. Can you see him fighting Yoel Romero? Like, it's like a monster via.
Yeah,
a kid.
He definitely plays Dungeons and Dragons and not really a fighter. Let's be honest.
We can't say that. We can't say that because he could, and I think he is one to watch. And I'm going to keep watching him.
Yeah, he's obviously with his record, and he's not.
You never know if he gets a great trainer, bit more meat on him.
He needs a bit more.
Gets a bit old when he gets older and older. He's only 20.
Give him the boxing training that he really needs.
Yeah, teach him to hit someone harder than he does.
I think it's more important not for him to be able to hit, but him to be able to definitely take a hit. That for me is more important than him being able to, because we can see that if he can get someone down, he's probably gonna get rid of them. That's what we're seeing. That's what's.
He's got a fantastic wrestling ability.
Once he gets him down, he's amazing. We just need to make sure he needs to train and be able to take a hit. If he can take a hit, he'll probably be fine. He doesn't necessarily need knockout power, because he probably can't get that if he wants to find that division.
No, well, like he did, he got on top and then punched.
Exactly, give him a chance to.
That's what he needs.
Get him trained, his chin up, and then I think that for sure. I don't know what his chin's like. I've never seen him punched.
He's got a great chin on him.
Yeah,
I remember watching a YouTube.
Daniel Taylor is not a person to
sniff at.
You can't bat an eye at.
He's a good fighter. He's hard hit, and
did he get hit much in the fight?
Yeah, he nearly dropped him. He's very gangly.
It was both. Like, both of them were at it, but it was just coming at the end of the first round. Chase
got on top.
Got on top too strong.
I saw a YouTube video of him having an MMA fight about a year ago, and everyone in the comments was slaughtering him. He's a human punching bag. But I tell you what, he took so many hits, he just got on top, and I think he choked the fella out. So fair play to him.
Oh yeah, if he can take a punch, then
if that's what he's good at, let him be good at it. Just train him in the areas that he needs a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Give him a little bit. He needs a bit of muscle on him, because if you're wrestling someone who's big, they might be able to block some of his movements if he needs a bit more muscle on him. But other than that, like, you just saw it, he's got the height.
He's got a great build.
Like you said, it's like a spider, just all over you.
Spider monkey wraps himself around you, does his job. I think
that was an really impressive performance. Something to watch, something to look at.
Great post-fight interview.
I think he's gonna have another fight again soon. I'd assume not much damage taken in the fight. Give him another one, because they're the sort of guys. He's young, he can fight. Good turnarounds.
So if he's gonna get someone ranked.
I couldn't.
No, not yet. That's too early.
Amari Akhmedov, who went on the weekend.
Akhmedov. Oh, that'd be a huge one for him.
I think that's too early. Give him another sort of couple of lower fights and then push him. What's the point in rushing him?
Yeah, true.
They've got no reason to rush him. They've got massive names in the UFC right now.
They rushed Till.
Exactly.
He got humbled pretty quickly.
There's too much on him.
Different fighter to Chase Hooper, but be slow with him.
So that was UFC 245, Las Vegas.
Right.
So
sexy.
This Saturday we have a fight night, and it will be in South Korea. Saturday, 10 a.m. in our time.
That sounds lovely. I can't wait for that one.
Nice early start.
Yeah.
So it's not an official UFC, it is just a fight night this weekend.
It's better than 6 a.m.
So we're not going to preview the whole thing, because we know everyone won't be interested in all of that. But there are two very good fights to pick out, which is the main and the co-main on the card. And we do have, as the main fight, Frankie Edgar v.
A late
Korean
replacement.
Zombie, a late replacement after Brian Ortega pulled out.
I'm so annoyed. I really, really, really wanted to see that Ortega Zombie fight.
Yeah,
That would have been
same.
fun. That would have been really
It
fun.
would have been great. But let's talk about the craziness of Frankie Edgar. He's fighting on end of January, I think it's January 25th, against Corey Sandhagen in bantamweight.
Is it
But this weekend he's fighting in featherweight
that the
against Korean Zombie.
McGregor-Cerrone card?
Crazy. He's pushing his body.
No,
to
the week
limits.
after.
Oh, it's after that, okay.
And so he's fighting in 2 different weights. He's fighting 2 tough guys. So what happens if he loses both of these fights?
I don't know. He's an old fella.
If he loses this fight, is it going to be a bad effect on the next fight? There's so many
Undoubtedly it will.
risks with doing both of these.
It could be a
It
motivator
could be
for him, but he's
amazing,
gonna
and he
rush.
wins both, and then he has a choice of which division he wants to go at. But he's been in the game for so long now, is he even going to get a title shot at any division?
I hope he's not underestimating Korean Zombie, because this is a must-win for him. Korean Zombie's never fought any of the big boys before. Frankie Edgar, he's old. We all know he's not, championship material anymore, but he's also very experienced.
I think it's a must-win for both of them.
It's a must-win for both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means we're probably going to have a really good fight. Probably. What do we think, though? If you were to look at it now, who do you think? Bear in mind,
I would say Frankie Edgar's experience will come in better than Korean Zombie's
Zombie's
skill.
got a lot.
But
He's
yeah,
fought for
it's-
so
Zombie's
long.
fought
You
for
can't
so-
you can't underestimate him. He's got very, very fast hands, Korean Zombie.
Do you remember when he did
Yeah.
that the twister submission? I can't remember who it was against when he a few years ago. That for me was like, wow. Watching that, I watched that again last night and this morning because I was just his technical ability on the floor and his punching. Like, he was a really good. I think he was a kickboxer beforehand. Zombie. I think he's a really, really impressive guy.
Yeah, he's got everything.
He's got everything. He's just not the best at anything.
Yeah, he's a middle ground fighter. He beat
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier in 2012. That's probably one of his biggest wins, but that's
Oh.
like a legacy win that you look back at because he's also lost to Aldo.
They've put
he's
him
lost
round.
to Yair Rodriguez last year.
They seem to put him. If they want to push a fighter, they go have Zombie.
Yeah,
And,
here's
you know,
a chance.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that's what
it's
they
like
do.
it's like feeding to the dogs, and that guy just loves the fight. So he's like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
fight
Into
anyone,
the
mate.
Zombie.
It's weird. He's brilliant. He's gonna struggle. He's good.
He's fun.
I
It's gonna be a
can't
fun
predict
fight.
this one. I'm
No.
trying to think.
I
of a
don't know.
prediction, but
I
think
don't.
anything could happen.
I am going to leave this one
They're
as I am
They're both brilliant,
clueless.
but you're absolutely not allowed to leave it because that is the point. We are predicting fights on this, and we will predict the fights.
Oh,
I'm
well,
gonna go.
Could you see Korean Zombie submitting Frankie Edgar?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
He's too scared to say something.
That one's
like
horrible. This is a
It's
stinker.
very, very tough.
Do you know what?
one.
No, we're here to
Say
predict the
something, man.
fight.
Say
We're
something,
saying Zombie TKO 3rd round. That's happening. I get them wrong every time, so let's say that, and maybe I'll get it right because I have no confidence in this.
Edgar 3rd round.
Edgar 3rd round. How are we saying?
Oh, TKO.
TKO.
I'll mix it up. Then I'll
I
go
don't have a-
Zombie submission in the second.
Oh, I don't have
Zombie
a clue,
decision.
though. I don't have a clue.
Submission.
Zombie submission in the second
In the
round.
second.
Ooh,
Yeah.
do you reckon?
No, but I mean, they're the ones that come
And
through.
by what method will he submit him?
Something crazy. I don't know.
Guillotine.
I can't really see Edgar getting tricked by something. He's not going to bulldog choke him out, is he?
I don't think he can. He hasn't got the arms. He hasn't got the arms to do that.
T-Rex arms.
He's not going to.
He's going to get a rear naked
Nah.
choke.
Well, that's. So I was reading something about that becoming like one of the most offended, because everyone knows about the rear naked. You don't have to be a
Tuck your chin in.
You don't have to be a technical fighter now to do that. So I'd say you're gonna struggle to do a rear naked, but I don't know. It should be okay. All right.
Yeah, so
So we're all saying no, we're not. We're all disagreeing.
we're all disagreeing.
Yeah.
We're saying Korea, me and Johnny. You're saying
Edgar.
Edgar. You're 3rd. I'm 3rd. You're 2nd.
I'm second. I'm going to go for an early submission. I said it wouldn't be something super simple. and
fair
then
enough.
said rear naked choke.
It's
But-
definitely a must-watch fight.
But I think he just could get tricked out by it.
You don't know what
confidence.
submission because it
Lose
could be an armbar. Who
concentration.
knows? But to be fair, the only other thing we're looking at is that Vulcan.
The co-main,
fight.
Volkanovski?
Volkan.
Volkan
Volkanovski.
Ozdemir.
Big
The Alexander Rakic in the light heavyweight division. So Volkanovski's 8th.
Both experienced guys, very experienced guys.
Rakic is definitely the more upcoming and younger of the two, as Volkan Ozdemir is.
He's been around for a
He's been
minute.
around for a
yeah.
long time. He's fought. He's lost his big fights. He's lost to Dominic Reyes. He's lost to Anthony Smith, Daniel
He lost pretty
Cormier.
bad to Dominic Reyes.
So maybe this is more of a fight.
Do you think
can
they've
win,
Do you
but-
think they've put this together to push Rakic?
Yes.
100%. This is Rakic's fight. He beat Jimmy Manu with a massive head kick last
that
fight.
kick was beautiful.
That was
Oh.
game over, and Jimmy Manuwa is a good fighter.
He takes everything, Jimmy Manoa, and,
And,
you know, he's coming up, Rakic. But for me, I think this could be, you know, he's definitely the favourite, Rakic, going into this fight without a doubt. You don't, you know, we're all in agreement. They've put it together to give Rakic a good kick up the division and ready to, you know,
Fight John
start
Jones.
Johnny Bones because he needs some meat to.
Who's fighting
to fight.
Jones next? Is it Dominic Reyes?
Yes, they've booked
I
that.
just
Is it February?
can't really get behind that fight.
Yeah.
I think it's
It's
February.
the UFC after. It's UFC 247, isn't it? So, pretty sure it's February. But yeah, Rakic hasn't fought nobody till Jimmy Manuwa,
Yeah,
but
February 8th. Reyes 12-0, got 25-1. Jones is amazing. I actually do think this fight will actually be a bit of a surprise. I'm going Vulcan for the win. I think for me, it just seems like, do you know what? It's going to be a surprise. These guys, they're both clearly able to knock someone out quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about Jimmy Manoa before. Vulcan also knocked him out in 2017. I think it was also a leg kick.
Was it?
Yeah, knockout, round 1, 42 seconds.
Was that the one when he kept doing it and it was a forced stoppage from a doctor?
I can't remember it.
I can't remember it, but I remember
But
something like that happening
You
sometime.
can't, underestimate either, really.
Yeah.
Rakic is upcoming.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
fresh.
Rakic
He's
is
dangerous.
bloody
But
brilliant.
This is an experienced
This
fighter.
is an
that's coming up
experienced
against.
fighter with a 16-4 record. You know, it's not as if he loses all the time. He's
No.
got wins,
yeah,
plenty of wins, and I
it's
think
just his wins, his losses. Sorry,
his
are
losses are against
the big boys.
the big boys, but probably guys that are better than Rakic is right now.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Which is why I think, if I was going to call it now, I'd say this is going to be the surprise of the night. Biggest surprise for a while. Underdog winning in Ozdemir. That, for me, is going to be the result. I'm probably going to say like a third round TKO. You know, I'm not.
For Rakic,
No, for Ozdemir.
I think that's not a bad shout, because
not
Rakic
sure whether
doesn't
in
really
there-
go beyond the first.
It won't be a 5, will
It'll
it?
be a 3-round.
Yeah, it'll
I'm
be a
pretty sure it'll
3-rounder.
be a 3-rounder. Yeah.
Yeah, third round TKO.
I'm gonna go second Rakic, as I fancy it this lot
What did you say, Johnny?
to be upcoming. in the division.
I will say first round Rakic. Rakic brings a lot to the table in the
Oh,
first 2 rounds,
Yeah,
and then fades off a little bit in the third, like when he beat Justin Ledley.
I think he's gonna go out to.
He tried to just finish that fight in terms of his points and his statistics that were carrying him.
Mhm.
But you never know, something mad could happen.
Well, yeah, we saw
We've
this
seen it
weekend
happen.
with silly results. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Anything
Still
can
angry.
happen.
Anything can happen. It's fighting.
Anything
Ooh.
can happen.
So, it was great.
Yeah,
It was great.
probably the best card of the year again.
Me gusta.
It lived up to expectation. All the fights were pretty good. Undercard was really good for an undercard.
Yeah,
The early prelims, again, of what we saw, still
Good.
impressive stuff, you know?
yeah.
They were fun.
The
There
eye
is-
fight was fun, stuff like that. I'm happy, definitely happy. So
Yeah.
bring on the next one, eh?
Bring
So
on the
is this
next one.
weekend, which not the best card, of
Well,
course.
it's
But
a
it's the
fight
2
night.
fights. It's a fight night. But the next UFC we will bring to you is January 18th. Return of McGregor v Cerrone.
Very exciting.
Oh, can't wait for
Looking
that one.
forward to that. What
Yeah.
a way to start 2020.
Yeah, Great way to start
Yeah,
2020,
it
and
looks
it's
like a good
expected
year.
to probably be the biggest year for the UFC.
Yeah,
Dana
well, I mean,
said.
they've already planned this. The fight 2 weeks later. Flipping Jones-Reyes.
Jones Reyes.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Sign me up.
So we'll be back with you after Christmas now.
Merry
Not long.
Christmas.
Yeah,
So
Merry
yeah,
Christmas,
everyone have a
guys.
good Christmas, and we'll be back with you after then.
In the new year.
In the new year, second week of Jan for the McGregor Cerrone.
Bring on 2020.
So